Hello, Ferrari fans. So, I've actually had this model in my possession for quite a while. I just never actually reviewed it. And I got a Kyosho that's a variation of this, so I thought it'd be a good time to talk about the Ferrari F40. So, the Ferrari F40 it first came out in 1987. It was sold up until 1992, and over 1,300 of them were sold. Originally, they were thinking they'd only sell like 400 of them, I think. But obviously it was quite more successful. They sold threefold that, and they're originally supposed to sell for like $400,000, which is around $930,000 in today's money. It was the last car that was approved by Enzo Ferrari, so there's a lot of speculators buying these. A lot of people bought these and never drove them. They just, were just trading hands, at auctions and stuff, and the price was increasing and ever so more. It actually set a record at auction over $1 million, and that record stood for quite a long time. Okay, so anyways, before all that selling happened, this thing was engineered by Nicola Materazzi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, sorry. And then the styling was done by the house of Pininfarina. And the intention of this car was to compete in the same class entered by the Porsche 959, which is FIA Group B Racing. But it was in development quite before that. It was basically the replacement for the 288 GTO. And so it was also a rushed project. Enzo said he wanted this project done in 11 months. So they basically took the engine from the 288 GTO, tweaked it, and made it a 2.9 liter and still twin turbocharged, making 470 horsepower in that ballpark. And so they had to outsource the bodywork to a company called Michelotto. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right either. But anyways, they're a bodywork company that made like the Lancia Stratos body, the 333 SP body, Ferrari 348, 355, 360, 430, 458. So they're obviously familiar with making bodywork for Pininfarina and Ferrari. So anyways, this is being back in 1987. It was starting to use more composites. There was some Kevlar, carbon fiber, in addition to the aluminum bodies and chassis components. And then to reduce weight, all the windows were plastic, so that's to reduce weight, of course. And then an interesting thing I found on Wikipedia, 7 of these cars were modified and delivered to the Sultan of Brunei, because apparently you can't have just one F40. If you're the Sultan, you have to have 7. It's pretty crazy. From the Ferrari factory, they were all red, but the Sultan had them all modified and stuff. The car got a lot of interesting press. Some people loved it because it was like a race car. It was one of the last cars to be a true race car, like before modern safety and electronics integration. But other magazine reviewers said it was like scary to drive because it was so raw. And then Gordon Murray of McLaren fame criticized it for being really spindly. Like the frame of this Ferrari is more like a 1950s style frame, so it was flexed a lot and it wasn't rigid like modern cars. In a lot of magazine competitions, they basically said the Porsche 959 was simply a better vehicle, more refined, more advanced, whereas this is just a raw go-kart wrapped in expensive bodywork. Okay, so let's get into the review itself then. Hopefully you've seen it spin around enough times that you can get an idea. It doesn't look realistic. Here's an even better shot. Yeah, I would say that looks very much like the photograph. My criticism for TLV though is, why is there no black paint in those side vents? So this is an expensive model. I looked up the pre-order price of this model and it was $70. So for $70, this model should look exactly like that photograph in my opinion, but it doesn't. Okay, but anyways, it's pretty close. Let's go to the back view. And then, yeah, the molding is there. It's just, it'd be nice to see some black paint in these vents. Alright, so, but otherwise it's alright, I guess. Although here, you can see on the front, there is a vent on the top half, but not the bottom half. So that's kind of weird that that vent just kind of vanishes. So, okay, let's get a better light angle and go over it with the dental pick here. Alright, so side view. Yeah, I mean the wheels are nice. But again, the center caps of these wheels on the real car are black. Now, plenty of other brands are putting color into their center caps of wheels. TLV just ignores it. And then I don't think there are any brakes on this car because it's very rare for TLV to acknowledge the fact that cars have brakes. I might be wrong. It's hard to say. I don't see like a disc back there. The spoke holes are pretty small, but I don't see any other brake. Right, no, I don't think it's there. But I guess it's not too bad because the spoke holes are so small that, well, I don't know. I mean, Inno64 and Tarmac Works would have brakes back there, but they cost like a half or a third of the price, depending on which model you get. Another criticism is the tire lugs look a little bit big from the side. I mean, these look like rally tires from the side. So I kind of would have preferred no lug nuts, or really smaller blocks would have been nice, which makes me wonder. Now from the bottom view, the tires do look quite nice and they look awesome, really. They look like high performance tires. It's just for some reason from the side, these side blocks just look a little bit too big. Okay, so it's interesting the construction of this thing. There's 4 rivet marks. No, 5. So they're really worried about aligning the interior properly. So that's kind of nice, actually. That's the most amount of press marks I've seen on any 1/64 scale car in my collection so far. Seems to be originally from 2018. So that's nice that they write the date and then what the car is, and then who made it. So they got all the necessary info, so that's great. I didn't even know there are vents down here. Would have been nice to have black again. Alright, so let's go to the front. Alright, so it's nice that there's texture in here in these vents, so that's pretty good. And this one, and it's a really deep vent, you know, it's not shallow. So that's really nice. These running lights are really good. You got the lens, and then you got black paint for the molding, and then underneath that lens you have the orange blinker and the white running light. So those are some really good lights. That's very good. I do question the size of this badge. It is larger than it should be. It looks more like a telephone versus a Ferrari badge. And then again, it would have been nice to have black in these vents. So I've seen some on, you know, $5 Kyoshos black paint in the vents. Okay, so we have a molded in windshield wiper, so that's good. And then it's painted black, so that's good. And then the window trim is painted black, and that's part of the casting in this case, so that's nice. These mirrors, nice. I don't have to glue on my own mirrors. They're separate pieces, so they look realistic and they look good. But there's no reflectivity. There's no silver paint. There's no reflective sticker. Now again, you would see the paint on a Tarmac Works and a reflective sticker on an Inno, and we're talking a half or a third the cost. Alright, so let's go to the back now. These exhaust tips are great. They're really small, they're painted silver, and they're black in the middle, so that's nice. No complaints there. Ah, boy. Yeah, I feel like there should be something there. I don't know if those are reflectors or vents. If they're reflectors, then yeah, I guess they're red already, no problem. But if they're vents, it would be nice to have different paint color in there. The blank license plate is kind of weird. I've never seen an all-white license plate on any vehicle in my entire life. I don't know, would have been, why wouldn't they just print F40 or print Ferrari or something like that? Okay, these plastic lights are nice. You know, there's different colors. They're not both red. I think different countries had different markers. I think maybe the US had these reversed, and then Europe may have been the other way. I can't remember, sorry. The white is a little bit off center on this one. It's no big deal though. Okay, this is nice though, the Ferrari printing there on that little part of the body. Let's see if it's legible. Yeah, I guess it's good enough. Alright, so that's cool. Alright, so top view. Again, there's a lot of NACA ducts, but no paint. It would have been nice to have a little black paint in there. Okay, fuel filler caps. I didn't know the F40 had 2 fuel filler caps. Okay, so if you watch my channel, you know I hate panel gaps. This is just a disaster. That's the biggest panel gap I have seen on any of my like 500 diecast cars now. So it's just horrible looking. It totally breaks up the appearance of the car. It's not even flush either. So now obviously it's there for a reason. It's because the hinge has to clear that roof. But I don't know. That's just maybe they could have designed a different type of hinge. I see like tailgates on pickup trucks, and I don't see this craziness. Or other moving part models, they don't have this crazy gap. That is the worst gap I've seen of all my collection. Granted, I don't actually have many cars with opening panels because I just hate them. I think I have 13 cars with opening panels out of like 500. So it's like 2%, 2.5%. It's not much. Alright, but anyways, they had to do it to show this. And it's okay. You know, I guess it's alright, but I would have been happier if it just had a solid body like a Kyosho and you could just look through the plastic. I don't have a need to show off an engine. I'm never gonna display this model like that. It's, you know, why would you display a model like that? It's just weird to me. I guess if you're a diorama person, but do you leave your diorama like that all the time? I don't know. I would assume the majority of people would display a model like that, right? So that's just me. Alright, so the front's not so bad because the design of it, the F40 itself, the seam is where they broke it up, so that's good, right? But, you know, is that worth looking at? I don't think it's worth looking at. I would rather just have it be a solid body. And so then you could have that vent be better. It's not realistic. These sacrifices to make these gimmicks. I would call these gimmicks. You know, it's totally unnecessary. I figure if you want to have like a more realistic car with opening panels, you should just buy a 1/18 scale where the gaps don't look so bad. But this gap multiplied by 64 times would be the width of this entire model. I say it a lot in my videos, sorry, it's my ranting. The more expensive a model gets, the more critical I am, and this is not a cheap model at all. Okay, so the interior, I mean, it is nice. That is one good thing about TLVs. They know interior is coming more than black. So this is nice that it has, you know, red seats, and the molded details are there. Oh, and that's a first. It's pretty rare to see something printed on the steering wheel. But yeah, there's a little yellow paint there. But if you look at the instrument cluster, it's totally blank, right? If this was an Inno 64, there would be some sort of decal, you know, showing the gauges themselves. And then there are no seat belts in this thing. If this is an Inno or a Tarmac, there would be seat belts on those seats, you know, like a decal or like a printing or something. So it's nice to see red seats, but models that cost a fraction of this model would have more details for sure. There's no doubt about it. So that's my, I guess my review. I think it's a good model. I just don't think it's a good value. I mean, you're getting ripped off. This model should cost maybe $30. It should cost half as much as its original price. Now with the gougers of eBay, I feel bad for people that buy this in the aftermarket, because TLVs aren't a good investment either, because they almost all get paint rash. You can see, well, I can see, being a red car, the paint rash is already developing in less than 2 years. In a few more years, this car will probably be all bubbled up. It won't be nice. Let's put it that way. So that's a big problem I have with this brand. They're not meant to last. TLV is a temporary collectible. It's good for 1 or 2 years, and then you just gotta accept that it's gonna become garbage. Okay, so that's pretty harsh, but again, it costs 2-3 times as much as other cars. Or in the case of the reason why I even started this video, we're going to talk about the F40 Competizione. And that's basically a consumer requested car. So let's back out here. This came in the mail today, and so this was spurred the video here. So this is from Kyosho's mini car collection number 4. And these are all model kits. You can get an idea of that there. And look, this thing costs 420 yen, which is $4.20. Even with inflation, this model costs less than $5 in today's money. So this model was made, let's see here, 2007. This is a 13-year-old model, 14-year-old model now. Just if you want to pause the video, there's a lot of other cool Ferraris in this collection for sure. Okay, so they're all opened, you know, because they're blind boxed. It is well packaged, you know. It comes in this blister pack, and it is a model kit. It comes with this card of different colorways. Obviously, I would have wanted red, but I went with the cheapest one I could find on eBay, and so it's got this matte black finish. And then the models are pretty easy to put together. It takes less than 5 minutes. Okay, so I saved you guys the torture, and I put it together already. So here's the base. There's no, well, actually, no, this one's good. You can remove this piece of plastic, and it actually comes with an extra screw if you want. You can screw it from the bottom into the model. So basically, you know, the things will become one piece, and you can, you know, safely handle the base instead of getting your fingerprints all over the model like I'm going to do. Okay, so let's see, take a look at this guy. The Competizione, though, as I'm trying to focus, this was a result of consumers' requests to go racing with the F40. There was a French importer. He specifically wanted to race at Le Mans, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And so Ferrari built 10 of these vehicles for that. The power output was raised up to 690 horsepower in that ballpark. And top speed was also going up to like 200 and almost 230 miles per hour. So I'm not sure if it was actually successful in racing or not, though. Okay, so looking at these wheels here, you know, there's open spokes and air passing through. That's fine. I'm guessing that's like a center knockoff or something, being a race car. And then good curvature to the tires. And being a race car, this is running slicks, so it looks pretty good to me. Okay, we have the printing of the badge there, so that's good. And the TLV had that too. I didn't mention it though. The NACA ducts. Now, being a black car, obviously no black paint is necessary for the ducts because it's already dark, right? I'm not sure if the red or yellow car comes with the paint in those vents though. Okay, so look in the back here. Now we got this really fine black texture here. I'm just trying to focus, sorry. Okay, there you go. You know, I think these might be separate plastic pieces. It's too fine to be a casting. And then you still have the plastic lights. But I'm not sure if they're all red on the competition car or if some should be orange. It's hard to say. You know, actually, if I spin around... No, I think they're both red. I thought for a second that was orange, but no, I think it's still red. Okay, well, at least they're lenses, so that's nice. The exhaust, you know, I think that's part of the casting. I don't know if that's a separate piece of plastic, this oval in the exhaust tips. It would have been nice to have some silver there, though. And then I'm not sure what this hole would be. Maybe it's like you jam a starter or something in there. I don't know. I'm totally making this stuff up. Okay, so the rear wing, it is a separate plastic piece and is glued to the casting, it seems. So the casting stops here, and then this plastic is glued there. The center strut's pretty thin. Pretty good, actually. Okay, we gotta remember, this model costs less than $5. Okay, so some engine details there. You know, it's all molded. The only thing is there's no painting of it. Kyosho blister packs are always like that. It's just the black plastic. There's a lot of molded detail, but you can't see much. Okay, so the side windows, I'm now noticing you have the sliding molded in there. And then blobby mirrors here as part of the metal casting. No reflectivity. That's the case with most of their blisters. But yeah, it's nice. You don't have those giant gaps like the TLV. Okay, this wiper blade is molded in and it's painted black, and all the windows have black paint around the molding as well. These vents here in the... This is pretty far in, actually. What is that, silver? Or... No, it's just blank. I thought there might have been a texture there. But that's a pretty deep vent, so pretty good. Aqueduct. Now that logo looks a lot more proportionate to a car. It doesn't look so big. It looks a little better to me. Might be slightly off center though. Okay, so the headlights, yeah, we got the plastic lenses. I'm not sure if I see much indication. Oh, well, you know, I'm wrong. Actually, there's a silver dot there. So the plastic is creating a circle, and then there's literally some sort of other silver, or maybe that's plastic. I don't know, but it looks like there's two headlights going on, right? So that's pretty cool. I didn't expect that, really. Okay, let's see here if we can see. I can't feel a texture in there. So dark, sorry. No, it's just smooth in there. Otherwise you'd hear my dental pick, but that's smooth. But they're pretty far in vents. I mean, that's pretty far in, right? That much. So if this was a red or yellow car, it would still look pretty dark in there. So that's pretty good, pretty realistic, I think. Alright, so this side, yeah, the badge is still nice on this side as well, but this time we have silver for the fuel filling vents there, or ports. I think one you dump the fuel in one, and maybe the other one is like putting air out. I don't know. I'm not sure how those things work. If anyone knows, please leave a comment. I'm guessing that's like an indication of a door handle. I suppose. What else would it be? I don't know. Okay, so now the bottom, yeah, it's just a blank base, which is fine. Yeah, but we got some vertical fins. They're not super wide, pretty thin plastic actually. The tires do seem to be staggered, so that's good. Yeah, and then, you know, being a model kit, if I wanted to paint that interior, like those seats red, I could do it. I am now noticing though, this headlight piece is a little messed up. Okay, so that's not the greatest quality control there. But again, what's nice about this screwed base is I could take it apart, take this out, trim it, and then glue it back in. So that's why I love screwed together cars, or screwed together vehicles. So I think this is a really nice model, and I'm actually quite lucky that there's no paint rash, there's no scratches, there's no gouges. Or wait, what's going on here? Alright, I'm wrong. It looks like some indication of paint rash there. But again, let me look at this box. Yeah, 2007, 2018. Right? So, I'm looking at they both have paint rash. It's just that this model is significantly older. Alright. So let's get the tray of comparison out now and start really getting into it. Okay, so front ends. Now the details here, the TLV's definitely got the winning headlight recesses there. But the badge is totally oversized here. This is a far more accurate size Ferrari logo. TLV does have the textures in there, which are good. I don't know though, maybe there's no grille on a race car. It might just be totally open, because a grille creates wind resistance, right? You want to cool the radiators as much as you can racing, so there might not be a need for a texture on this model. Okay, it's interesting that the mirrors are in a different location. But again, it's a race car. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the interior details. TLV's is better. The steering wheel is thinner plastic. It's got those vents on the dash where the there are bulby looking things, ball vents or something. I'm not sure. But again, it's a race car, so I'm not sure if it's accurate or not. Okay, so the back ends. TLV's definitely got the better silver paint going on the exhaust, and the better, you know, tail lights because it actually. Well, again, I'm not sure if the competition car would have two reds or not, so I can't really say that for sure. But the grille texture here is much finer, so I think the Kyosho is actually more accurate. I don't think a real F40 doesn't have such a wide mesh. It's actually a pretty fine mesh. It almost looks like there's no mesh at all when I look at the photo of the real car. So this was exaggerated a little bit too much. Okay, so I'm not sure if the race car should have Ferrari in there or not, but most other Kyoshos have the back badging, so this could be accurate. Okay, so it's really this top view. I mean, look at this panel gap problem. Ugh, it's hard to hold. What panel lines look more accurate to you? Right. So I think TLV has to get away, or I think really all manufacturers of scale models in 164 need to get away from this. This really detracts from the realism of a model. Having these giant gaps, and this hinge is just, this is the poorest choice of a hinge I've seen. I know their NSX doesn't show any of that, right? So weird, really weird. Okay, so yeah, the glass is similar, right? Okay, so I guess that's it for comparing these two. Is this model worth 14 times as much as this? I don't think so. In many ways, this looks better to me because it doesn't have those gaps. This has the advantage of the interior. These lights here. But that's about it, I think. Those are the only advantages I think you're getting for 14 times as much money. Because neither of them have disc brake systems. Yeah, so, okay. Well, I guess I have too many. I'm not going to fit these on the Spin Master so easily. Well, I guess I can. I want to show other cars here, but I guess there's no room. The predecessor, here's a Kyosho 288 GTO. This is from a really early collection. It had absolutely horrible wheels, so I printed up my own GTO wheels. But this got a really nice black line, breaking up the body, and now it's carried over to the F40. So you got silver in these little things here. Okay, so a little Ferrari text there on the engine cover. And then the successor to the F40 would be the F50. So these are Kyoshos. This is a Kyosho coupe version, or hardtop. Again, the proportion of the Ferrari logo looks better on the Kyosho. It's not oversized. There's still decent indication of the lights in this bucket assembly. The black line separating it is pretty well done. And then tiny text, still printed. Okay, so this one at least has silver muffler exhaust tips, so that's pretty good. But again, the mesh back here is super fine. It's not a big checker pattern. It's a much finer pattern. I think it looks more realistic. Okay. Now the very last one is just a roadster version. So again, this is a Kyosho. So small logo. Much finer pattern to the mesh. Still badging and stuff, no disc brakes though. All these Kyoshos, there's no disc brakes. So, well, I guess that's it for the Ferrari F40 subject. I it sounds like I'm like the devil of TLV. I still like TLVs. I'm still gonna buy TLVs, but I just want you guys to know that they're not a good value and they're not gonna last long. My experience is the paint becomes a disaster in a couple of years, and then these things are really overpriced. Like, these are luxury goods. Really, no one needs to have diecast cars to survive in this world, right? Diecast, even Hot Wheels, are luxury goods. Poor people don't, well, maybe do play with Hot Wheels, but they're not a necessity of life. So, it's up to everyone to justify how they spend their money. Me personally, I would rather buy maybe 14 Kyoshos than one TLV, or maybe, and more realistically, maybe 7 Kyoshos versus one TLV. At least these premium, super high-end Ferrari TLVs, they're always like $50 to $100, it seems. So I mean, that's a lot for a model that has such deficiencies, where other brands, NO64 and Tarmac Works, are simply doing a better job. They're putting in far more effort into their models than TLV. So just keep that in mind. I don't want you guys wasting your money. But if you have the money to buy a TLV, go ahead and do it. Just be mindful that it might not look so nice in a couple of years due to the paint rash problem. Okay, guys. Sorry, super critical again, but yeah, the more expensive model gets, that's how I become. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.